This is my PRS CE24. This is the guitar I play the most. I really love this thing. It plays great. A little bit different than other CE24s in that it has an all mahogany body. There is no maple cap, and that it's satin stained. Like most CEs, it has a 24 fret system as well as a floating trem, which is great for most situations. However, occasionally you want to play music that's in alternate tunings. And changing the tuning of the guitar with a floating bridge sucks when you're going to alternate tunings. Even just changing the drop D, when you change the low E string, all the other strings change, so it's a mess to do quickly, much less when you go to more crazy alternate tunings. And PRS, I'm talking to you. Unfortunately, you're not listening to your customer base, and they do not make a 24 fret guitar that has a fixed bridge. That would be great to pick that up for songs in alternate tunings. However, they don't make a custom 24 or a CE24 with a fixed bridge. So as a result, I went looking for aftermarket solutions as to what I could do to fix this problem. I am putting the KGC aluminum Tremolo Stopper into my PRS CE. I love this guitar, play it all the time. I hate the fact that I can't quickly do alternate tunings because the trem's floating. So a lot of people get these for different reasons. For me, I just want to be able to quickly tune on the fly to drop D or Dadgad or some other weird tuning that I'm playing Soundgarden or Zeppelin to. So you can see that this is a really nice aluminum trem stopper. It is one piece of aluminum that is machined down. It's actually really high quality. It has some nylon bushings in the sides that don't need a nut to secure the plunger, which we'll put back in a second. I was actually really worried about where this was going to sit in my guitar, that it was either going to go into the neck pickup cavity with some of these screws, because when you look at them, they got some decent length to them. I mean, they're not super long, but they go a decent way into the body. Actually, if you put the first screw, you can see where the screw holes are for my trem, because PRS's trem screws almost penetrate. If you put it just past that line, and that gives you maybe, I don't know, 1/4 inch, they say to give yourself somewhere around 5/8. I put it about 1/4 inch, and that'll line you up right in between the trem and the trem pickup cavity. So both these holes didn't penetrate through anything, which is nice. Super easy, just put this where I wanted it, got it flat with the block, and then drilled a little pilot hole, put the first screw in, and then figured out where I want to put the second one. Again, just a little pilot hole that you can see here. I actually did with my drill bit was put a piece of tape on it. Let's see if we can get in focus here. So I just took and put a piece of Scotch tape so I knew how deep to go, and that way I didn't go any deeper. You can see you get some really nice instructions from Rick as far as how to do this. Overall, looks like a really quality product. So I'm going to put the last screw in, and we'll see how it looks. So here you can see we got both screws in place. It doesn't really say where to put the first screw, but I'm assuming that you want to put it all the way towards the trem block so that this pushes back against it, and really the second one's just helping with some tension. So that's how I set it up, and again, that keeps it away from the trem bridge pickup cavity as well as your trem screws. So here you can see I've got the plunger started back in. That needs to screw in so that it's touching the bridge. They say to take your springs off when you do this. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to lose my position. I like where my bridge is set up, and I didn't have a problem doing it without taking them off. The screws that come with this are really high quality. They're stainless steel, Really nice. This is all one piece of aluminum, obviously, and this is a stainless steel plunger. So super quality materials. You actually get the drill bit and an Allen wrench with the device, which is really nice. You don't have to worry about what size bit or if you've got it in the wrong place in your set or anything else. Something that's super cool. You guys have ever seen Allen wrenches like this before? I have. Usually they're really high quality Allen wrenches, which I'm surprised this is included. But they have this little ball on the end, which actually lets you Allen wrench at a different angle. So with that in place, it's actually enough to get a full turn all the way around. So it's actually really easy to get this all the way in if you want to leave your springs in place. So kudos to Killer Guitar Components for adding a really high quality Allen wrench with their set. So next isn't anything that it says to do in the instructions, but I did a lot of research on trem stoppers before I decided on the Killer Guitar Components one. And a lot of people talked about the clicking noise you get when you dive the trem and it comes back and the metal on the trem stopper hits the metal on your block. So I'm just going to take a piece of painter's tape. A lot of people talk about all kinds of different things to put on there, but this is thin. It really shouldn't affect the position of the block coming back, but I'm just going to stick it on the inside of the block here and hopefully we won't get any clicking. So you can see now we've got the plunger all the way forward. We got a little piece of painter's tape here to hopefully avoid any kind of clicking. Everything looks really good on the installation. One thing I did read was that you want to tighten your claw screws a couple turns. That will assure that there's more tension and that the block returns to the exact same place, as well as if you're playing anything weird like Rush's Big Money that's actually tuned up a step to F sharp, you want to make sure that you have extra tension on there so that your strings aren't pulling your block back. And that's about it. So here you can hear with the trem arm on and the trem will stop in place, even with that little piece of painter's tape. You can hear a little click. It's not bad at all, and as you can hear when you had an amp on, you can't hear it at all. It's kind of like, you know, a little bit of buzz on your high E. Once your amp's on, you don't hear it at all. As you can see, we can dive with the tremolo arm, but there is absolutely no bending up with it. It's rock solid, doesn't do anything when you try to bend up. So we've got it in drop D right now. That stays really well in tune. Everything is nice and stable. Just going to quick tune up to standard by just changing the E string. And then checking the other strings. Kick the amp back on here. It might be just a tish flat, but it's pretty darn good. Maybe a little bit more sustain with this, which is something they say it does. That's not why I got it at all. I wanted tuning stability for changing tunings with a trem, but I do notice a little bit of subjective increase in sustain. I play this guitar all the time. So now that we've played a little bit, let's see how close that tuning really is. And we're just a little bit flat. And I mean, this isn't even a turn, it's just nudging the tuner. So in a live situation, I don't think you'd notice that at all. What's interesting is it's actually a little bit more on the A than D string. The G, the B, and the E are right on, so just a little bit on the heavier gauge strings that are still moving that trem around a bit, but it is nice and stable. So kudos to the guys at Killer Guitar Components. This was not a sponsored video in any way. I spent a lot of time looking at different options as far as what I wanted to do with this guitar. I looked at the Tremolo No. I looked at the cheaper versions of trem stops, which are just bent brass pieces that you can get on eBay for like 12 bucks. I got this Killer Guitar Components solid aluminum machined block, and it came with the drill bits and the Allen wrenches and everything you needed for 27 bucks. So it is well worth the cash. Hope you found this video informative if you're looking at the Tremolo Stopper, and thanks for watching.